What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Fifth Down Territory. You know who it is, the boys holding it down. It's at Bahuki Montana, Nolan at No Bowl on Twitter, and me at VL Stewart 503. Tyler's feeling under the weather, so him and Debo Samuel took the day off, but they'll both be back next week probably. So that's a crazy joke.
Man,
Chris Godwin didn't have a leg to stand on. It's fine. We're rolling into next week. We're going into week 8 of the NFL. Only one undefeated team remains, much to every NFL player and every NFL fan except for Nolan's spite. The Kansas City Chiefs still stand alone on top of the mountain. But your existing MVP is Jared Goff. So, who saw that coming, I guess. What do you guys think? How was week 7? Anything stand out? What are your big overreactions, biggest surprises? What's standing out on week 7?
Go ahead, Bahuki.
All right, so we got week 7. My overreaction was the Bills have locked up the AFC East. This was some of the commentary, and maybe it's not that big of an overreaction, but as far as Bills fans need to be concerned, we need to kind of simmer down a little bit here. I think it's like we've done okay here, but the rest of the division is really kind of just underwhelmed. But I do expect all 3 teams to start playing better football pretty shortly here, with Drake May starting to emerge, Tua coming back this week, and Devontae Adams joining the fold with the Jets. So it's not time to rest on our laurels here. And my underreaction was the Deshaun Watson trade found a way to get even worse than it already was.
It is, yeah. I think this is a good thing to talk on. We always say we're going to skim through the stuff and then we debate, but his contract is pretty much unvoidable, even with injury. I think Shefty broke this down, but even with injury, insurance coverage, they still owe like $39 million on this contract each year. And it would only be good next year if he can't play for some reason. So $72 million cap hits for a franchise that he doesn't want to play for and that fans don't want him. Like, what? Yeah, I don't know how this situation could get any worse for anybody.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, to think that, Deshaun was already getting booed, and he had the more off-field issues that were starting, and even more of them resurfacing and becoming an issue. So this is just kind of a punch in the face for him. Now, granted, he does have his money guaranteed, like we're saying, but yeah, we'll see what the Browns do. And
I
James
think
Winston came in and looked pretty decent compared to Dorian Thompson-Robinson. So,
yeah, I think one thing we have to talk about with this is it just goes into the underrated mental aspect of the game. Like, you can't tell me his physical has changed that much since Houston. It's just the reps. It's the mental part of the game. Like, he just hasn't been able to hold it in. And he honestly may never play football again. Like, take the injury, take your money. Like, are you getting a starting job somewhere? I don't know.
Yeah, it's only time will tell. Kind of.
Who's your biggest surprise of the week, Bahugi?
Yeah, it's only time will tell.
Biggest surprise of the week was unfortunately what we saw last night with in that Bucs game. Not necessarily how they lost, the game. It reminded me a lot of watching the Bills play the Ravens. It was pretty reminiscent. Watching Derrick Henry broke some runs off very similarly, and I was like, oh boy, I know that feeling. And especially when you see him coming up the sideline with a full head of steam, he is you have to make a business decision trying to tackle him. Like Taylor Rapp from the Bills came across and took a perfect angle and got his head across the ball and did everything that you're coached to do. He ended up in the concussion protocol. So that's like what you're dealing with, and they're a real problem. But with all that being said, that wasn't my surprise. My surprise was the way that Mike Evans' injury, I guess, was kind of more incidental. He'd already been dealing with a hamstring injury, and it was re-aggravated, and it's just unfortunate. Todd Bowles said probably about an hour or so before we went on here. At least I saw a report that he's not expected back before the bye week. The bye week is week 11, which would mean week 12 would be the soonest they could see Mike Evans back. And Godwin, on the other hand, they're way out of this game. It was a blowout. They ended up bringing it back to 41-31, but it was way worse than that. It was not a 10-point game. I don't care what that scoreboard said. It was like a 25, 30-point game. And they got some garbage time points, and in doing so, chucking some deep balls up, got really they ruined one of their best players, probably their best player this year.
On a contract year, yeah, it's tough. It's a tough break for Godwin, who is having a fantastic year. And who's your certified sicko?
So Nolan filled this sheet out before me, and I will say that there were a lot of things that Nolan filled in that I probably would have filled in. So I didn't fill in what Nolan filled in because he had a good one. I went with Kyron Williams. He didn't really jump off of like the screen this week per se, but I want to say he's scored in like 9 straight games now. Was the stat that I saw?
I think he scored every game this season. I don't know what so going back to last season, but they talk about Montgomery that way, but Kyron's also doing the exact same thing.
So yeah, I wanted to give him his flowers in that regard. This one's kind of more like his body of work. And he's a Notre Dame guy. It turned out was like a 6th round draft pick, I want to say. And I picked him up in some waiver wires in fantasy leagues. No one knew about him, but I watched him all through college and knew he was going to be a player. And I ended up flipping him in a couple of leagues, and I'm now like debating, did I make the right decision? Because I wonder, because of what his usage rate is, and we've already seen him have like a run of injuries, like how long is he going to be able to maintain like this? And I'm rooting for the guy. Don't get me wrong, because it's absolutely insane what he's doing.
I've seen comparisons. People are worried that he's going to have like a Todd Gurley type run where he's going to be a really, really bright spark for
I love/hate that
3 or 4 years, and then it'll just be gone, and it'll be like, wow, where did he go? But yeah, hopefully not. I mean, he's trying to be a bright side on a Rams team that has really, really just fallen down a cliff after winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah. I'll go do my set next, and then you can close this out, Noel. My biggest surprise, I guess, is the Colts. I feel like this is going a little under the radar, but the Colts are 4-2, 4-3. I don't think they deserve to be 4-3. I mean, they're winning some ugly games, and you can't blame them for that. But this offense that looked so explosive last year with Richardson, started the season strong, just feels so disjointed right now.
I think they have a quarterback controversy.
Yeah, people are calling
it it's not that much of a controversy.
Well, it's like, can Richardson develop, right? You know exactly what you're getting with Flacco. You're not going to go to a Super Bowl with Flacco. So that, I think that's the question, is do you think Richardson can get you there? But I mean, time doesn't wait for anybody. Like how long can you dink and dunk and scrape into a wild card spot just to get bounced because your quarterback can't, have a regular completion percentage. So I think the Colts continuing to win ugly games is a little surprising, but I think it's more surprising how ugly the games they are in have been. And then also Bryce Young status, like the Panthers are still losing. So why are we still seeing Andy Dalton? Like that game on Sunday was not particularly close.
He hasn't been much better.
You can't tell me that's a worse performance than what Bryce Young would have given you. They scored 7 points against the Commanders, who are a horrible team on defense. Dalton threw picks. There were fumbles all over the place. Like this team is just gross in every sense of the word. My underreaction is, or something I think that people are underreacting to is, I think the Niners season is over. I don't think this is a team that is really looking at the postseason anymore. I don't think they have a shot of winning this division, especially it's not as good as you'd have hoped it's been. But I mean, I think the Seahawks are going to have this locked up before the Niners really get a chance. They lost Ayuk for the season. We haven't seen CMC yet. Their right tackle situation is beyond abysmal, and I just think this team is incredibly worse and uninspired right now. They'll come back next year and be great because apparently every 3 years they have to just have like the worst season anyone's ever seen a Super Bowl contender have. But I think that's going a little under the radar. And then my certified sicko of the week is Jahmyr Gibbs. 145 all-purpose yards. This is a stat line. I checked it right before this. 7.7 yards per carry is what he ended the day with.
Sheesh.
That is insane numbers. Okay. He's picking up a first down every 2 runs. Well over is what that means. So he had a great week. I think he's a little underappreciated in that offense because of all the other weapons that they have. But yeah, definitely the 1-2 punch where, you know, take one punch out and the second one punches stronger. I think the Lions have a great thing going, and I think they might be the best team in the NFL right now.
Okay. I think that I saw that they were going by Sonic and Knuckles now. Is what
that's awesome.
Montgomery want to go by. Yeah, pretty cool. All right. So biggest surprises for me, and I might get slander for this. Russell Wilson in Pittsburgh might actually be okay.
I have something I want to just tack onto this.
Yeah,
football needs the Russell Wilson moonball. Okay. It is one of the best aspects of football that I didn't know I missed until I saw it on Sunday night. And I was like, this is art.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So that's, I mean, I was really, really surprised just because it felt like all the cards were against Pittsburgh. Because before Devontae Adams went to the Jets, it was like, oh, Russell Wilson's making his debut. You know, he's back. And that immediately just goes under the table because Devontae Adams gets traded to the Jets. And then they go out there and they put 37 up on him and embarrass the Jets. So, I mean, that was my biggest surprise was, all right, maybe it won't be nearly as bad as everybody thought because there was some worry there for a bit. Overreaction, this actually goes very much against what you just said, Louis. The Lions being the best team in the NFL. They're good. They're very good, and they have all their pieces there. I just want a few more weeks of it because you can crumble really, really quickly in this league, and it can happen in the blink of an eye. And, I mean, the Vikings are a good version of that. If you've watched the quarterback documentary on Netflix, Kirk Cousins and the Vikings were undefeated, and then just all of a sudden just wall, and everything crumbled. And I just don't want the Lions to have to go through that if they're going to hold the title of best team in the NFL. So I'm hesitant. I'm not saying they're not good, but I'm hesitant on it. And then my underreaction, you won't like this one either, Louis.
It's true. I saw it already.
The Texans O-line is not very good. They do not pick up on a ton of stunts and different looks, and they're not protecting C.J. Stroud, and that's your franchise guy. So, I mean, maybe it was just a 1-week blunder, but we'll see.
So picking up stunts has been an issue for this line all year. It's a communication issue. But, I mean, you were just seeing stuff. So, like, the first 2 drives, I would say, was pretty much on the offensive line. And then it was just like whatever went wrong, whatever could go wrong was going wrong. So like there was a play with a free rusher where in motion, the tight end clipped the right tackle's heel and they both just like lay down on the ground while this rusher comes completely, unblocked. But there were also snap timing issues. Like CJ was snapping the ball before people were ready or set. And then the tight ends, running backs were not picking up the right people. Like, I have no idea what you do with this group, to be honest. Like, I think you continue exploring it throughout the duration of the regular season, but every road game in loud stadiums, it has been abysmal. It was the same problem against the Vikings. So what it tells me is if we don't have a high seed in playoffs, we could be round 1 exits, right? They need the home field advantage desperately to be a cohesive unit.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, just a little of an underreaction. Like, I don't know if it'll be talked about enough. If it doesn't, fine, whatever. Certified sicko for me. I took, like Bahuki said, I took his. Saquon Barkley. That dude, I mean, I think everyone knew what the script was going to be going up against the Giants. Give him the ball. But what really just took it over the top for me is when there's the clip that surfaced online on social of him talking with the coaches and like, hey, you're 13 yards away from your career high. Do you want to stay in? We'll let you get it. And he's like, no, let the young boys cook. Let the rookies cook. The fact that you will give something like that up against a team that stopped believing in you and didn't want to pay you, that just speaks levels to me, and I thought that was great. And then he whooped their ass too. So I mean, it's pretty
sure, yeah. I'm pretty sure he outgained, like he had more yards of total offense than the Giants did.
Oh, I believe it. I believe it. Hey, Tyler said it best that once it came out that the left tackle was out for the Giants, or starting left tackle. I mean, the Eagles clearly were watching even more film throughout the rest of the week, and they went right after him, and it was crazy. But yeah,
a little bit of breaking news right here if you guys want it.
Yeah, hit us.
Saints and Alvin Kamara agree on a 2-year, $24.5 million extension that puts him under contract through 2026.
Okay.
So he is not going anywhere. There were a lot of trade rumors around Alvin Kamara.
He retires as a Saint, or what's his value in 2026?
I don't know. But that negative $81 million in cap space is now like negative 87. So big whoop.
Real quick, Pissy Pants Player of the Week was the New York Jets. Absolutely hilarious.
Every week. It feels like every week we're talking about this team.
Yeah. Nothing new. Devontae goes from 2-5 to 2-5.
Yeah.
Irony.
2-5, but now he's got a quarterback and no Taco Bell. So.
Yep. Maybe he can build one in the.
Let's move to our game script pick of the week. We'll get you guys. I say this every week, but we are eventually going to put updates in here. I think it was me, then Nolan, then Lamb, and then Bahuki was the order from last week, maybe. But we're going to check on that. We'll have actual numbers. I'll do those calculations this weekend while I'm watching the Texans thrash the Colts. But we open up Thursday night. I don't feel like this is much of a game. Vikings at Rams. Somehow the spread on this is only 3. So you guys tell me what you think. I thought this was pretty easy picks. Vikings to win and cover. Anybody have anything different than that?
No.
Nope.
Okay.
I think the Vikings are going to be really, really upset that they just barely lost to the Lions. And I mean, quite literally came down to not getting the spike off in time.
Well, they did get the spike, and it got ruled back. Oddly enough, they got like 1 second, and then Darnold is immediately sacked, and the game's over. So I've got Jonathan Grenard as probably the guy who's going to dominate in this game to me. He had a 3-sack game against the Texans. He feasts against bad offensive lines, and I think this Rams unit qualifies as that. So I know Matt Stafford is going to be getting that thing out quick, but I still expect 2 sacks probably from Grenard on the night. And then I'm going to take Jordan Addison as my touchdown scorer.
All right. Yeah, I have Justin Jefferson as my stud of the game. I think Darnold's going to want to feed him against the secondary. And then I do have Aaron Jones as my anytime, just because, well, he has a questionable tag to start the week. So, I mean, we'll kind of.
I mean, he had a questionable tag last week and he just went off. So
exactly. So, I mean, I don't think it's going to affect him, but Aaron Jones for anytime for me.
Okay.
I went with Sam Darnold as my stud of the game, and TJ Hawkinson is my anytime touchdown scorer, who I think is coming off of the pup this week. At least my fantasy teams really hope that he is.
TJ Hawkinstein, underrated player. We'll see if he comes back to form. We move then to Sunday games. Cardinals, Dolphins. I actually feel like this will be a pretty underrated good game.
I agree.
Scrappy teams. I've got the Dolphins winning this one. I'm taking the Cardinals to cover that 3-point spread. I think this is Tyreek Hill's game all day long. I think they're going to come back and just try and remind people why he gets paid so much money. And maybe he can get more than one target in this game, Mike McDaniel, if you're watching. Go study film, please. Good Lord. Write up a game plan. What are you doing? And then I've got Devon Achane. I think will benefit from a passing game, lighter boxes. I think he finds the end zone on a long run this week. My fantasy teams need him to find the end zone on a long run this week.
Okay. I'll go next here. I just changed my pick as we're sitting here. I'm going to go Dolphins as well. Cardinals to cover as well, though, too. This is probably one of – I could see this game being just like Monday night with the Chargers. I really could. Just
the other way,
ugly and not fun. But I'm sticking with my Cardinals, though, as far as my stud and my touchdown score. I think Kyler Murray could really have a really nice game and just fall short. And then I have James Conner for any time.
What do you got, Bogey? The AFC East whisperer among us.
The AFC East whisperer. Yeah, the Dolphins are a team that I usually pick better than my own team. So I do think that it's Tua time. Tua's back, and I think Tua really kind of showed us his value while he was gone to this team, because what he is not. Well, I can tell you that this team absolutely is not without him at all. I think that he's going to come in here, and at least I was listening to him talk to some of the press on NFL Network this morning, and he seems like he's pretty motivated to get in there and get back to it. And yeah, you guys were talking about Tyreek Hill. He has been one of the biggest busts in fantasy football this year, basically because of what's happened. And I don't know if he's gone over like 8 fantasy points this year. Like that's pretty much like what his average has been. And I agree that Tua is going to get back to him, and this offense can start to look like what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
Moving along into Falcons and Bucks. This is a big game here. This is a real big game here, and I was talking to some of my coworkers today about it, and it really sucks for the Bucks, losing arguably your 2 best players in the same game. And this is a must-win game for the Bucks. Like, this is really one of the biggest games of the week. They lost that game at Atlanta in heartbreaking fashion. And this is a huge swing game for what their season's going to end up looking like, I think, because there's a lot of gloom and doom around Tampa today about like the season's over, this or that. Well, this division is still there for the taking, and the Bucks still have championship caliber players and championship caliber coaching. And I'm gonna believe in the Bucks to pull this one out at home, because they have to. There's no other choice. Maybe I'm crazy for it. The Falcons have not looked terrible this year. They're coming off a lump from Seattle, who really played a great game. But I'm going with the Bucks. I went with Bucky Irving is my to win, Bucks to cover. Bucky Irving is my stud of the game, and Jalen McMillan is going to be his stocks went way up for my dynasty leagues. Not exactly the way you want it to, but unfortunately that's football, and that's how it goes sometimes. And it's going to be him, the Jalen McMillan and Trey Palmer show in Tampa. That's what it's going to have to be. So yeah, I like him for anytime touchdown.
I like that a lot. I'm going to be honest. I completely agree on the importance of this game. I just have it swinging the other way. I'm taking Falcons.
Yeah, it's okay. This is going to be a good one. You can make an
argument.
I
think it is a good game. I think this spread is right where it needs to be. I don't think this Bucks team is done yet. I think they're going to be scrappy. I think Baker's still playing at a really high level if he can take care of the ball. I just think being down your top 2 wide receivers is a tough challenge for any
team. Check time.
Yeah, right. And so this is where it comes down to: can you run the ball? Can you do what you want to on the ground to facilitate what you need to through the air? But considering Kirk just threw 500 yards, I just think the Falcons will come out on top and kind of almost clinch this division here with both those tiebreakers. And I'm taking Drake London to kind of put this game away for them. I'm taking Kyle Pitts to find the end zone.
Okay. Tight
Feels
end you
good.
love. All right. Louis, I'm on the same boat as you here. Falcons to win and cover. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if that money line maybe changes just slightly now that they know Mike Evans is out, at least for extended time now. But yeah, I think the Falcons are recognizing this is a put away game. This is the time to punch the division in the mouth and go get a big win.
And it's tough. Like this game is like the most winnable of the next 3 for them. And that's the hard part. Like you drop this, it really could be
the Bucs get the Chiefs after this, I'm pretty sure.
And then I think they get the Niners right after that, which I mean, not an impossible team to beat right now, but definitely
you gotta have this one if you're still serious about winning this division. So yeah, this is really circled on the slate for me.
Yep. For stud of the game, I have Kirk Cousins, and then I have Bijan as my anytime. He is really starting to get his footing. You know, Atlanta is recognizing how big of a red zone threat he is. So Bijan for me. All right. I'll carry us over into Ravens Browns here. This is ugly.
This is
I mean, I think we all have consensus here, right?
Yeah, we
Ravens,
can get to
everything.
Ravens.
Like it shouldn't even be close.
Yeah, it's a 9-point spread, and we all feel comfortable with that 9-point spread. So,
yeah, exactly. We all pretty much have the same studs or they're over in just different variations. I mean, Bahuki, you have Bateman for your anytime.
Yeah, he came up with a big touchdown last week, and I was just gonna say basically all I had to say is that it's nice to see him finally start to come along because he's kind of had a really rough start to his career, and then Zay Flowers coming in, and he's finally starting to look like a guy who was a first-round pick.
Yep, they need him to. I mean, Lamar can't just throw it to Zay Flowers, and Louis, you said it off air before we started. Zay Flowers was out there for cardio anyway.
Yeah,
so.
My man's just had to burn some calories from Crumble right before, so we all relate to that.
Yeah.
Also, just to touch, I almost gave my certified sicko of the week to Nick Chubb. Man, what a moving piece he wrote in the Cleveland Tribune before his game to come back, to score a touchdown, to watch all those guys rally around him, man. Those are the kind of players that you want. That's who you want your quarterback to be, you know? Like you don't have to be the best player in the world, but man, your teammates should love you. Like that is an important quality of leadership is being respected. I don't think anybody's going to say Nick Chubb is like, right. Oh, we like Nick because Nick lets us slack off. Like, I don't think that's Nick Chubb's reputation in any way, but those dudes love him. It's so cool to see him back on the field. This last, I nearly brought a tear to my eye. I read that they played the tribute video, I think, in the stadium before he came out, and then to watch him score that touchdown was just a cool football moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll just flip us into Packers Jaguars just because that Ravens one was easy.
Yep.
This one's kind of weird just because the Jaguars, I know it was against the Patriots. Sorry, Tyler, but they kind of have it figured out a little bit more.
They were playing in London.
Exactly. Their home stadium.
Yes.
Now they got to come back to the United States. But I'm going Packers everything here. Win and to cover. This
was an easy one, too. Let's be real.
Yeah. Jordan Love was I shown tight end love. Tucker Kraft for my anytime.
I went Jaden Reed is my sicko, and Romeo Dubs is anytime touchdown scorer. And you can honestly flip flop either of these. Romeo Dubs has really been emerging this year.
Yeah, I've got Brian Thomas Jr. as my sicko of the game. I think he's going to still have a great game. He is just so consistent for a rookie. He honestly, behind Malik Neighbors, might be the best rookie in this class. Obviously Marv is still an all-world talent, but I don't think we're talking about Marv in the same way we're talking about these guys right now. And then Jaden Reed, my touchdown scorer. The Texans held him to like 15 total yards. I don't think that happens again. So I have him to catch a touchdown. And then moving into the Colts Texans.
Do it. Yeah, run it.
This is at Houston. I'm taking Texans all the way. I think this is a big get that game for them. I think it's going to be a hard week of practice. I think they want to put away a bad team. I've got Stephon Diggs as my sicko of the game because he just hasn't really had the chance to shine without Collins. This is a bad secondary. He doesn't get the protection right. I think he's going to see 10 targets this week.
He had the most. He had the most receptions out of anyone last week for you guys. With 5.
And for like 10 yards, but yeah, he had five catches. Dell had 0, so hopefully see that correct a little bit. And then I've got Joe Mixon is my touchdown scorer. He's got like 3 straight games, full games of 150 or something all-purpose yards. Dude is an animal, and I'm taking him to find the end zone against Indy. A bad run defense.
Yeah, I'm with you. My picks are the same. They're just flip-flopped. I just went with Joe Mixon as my stud of the game, and Stephon Diggs is my anytime touchdown scorer.
Yeah.
Yep.
And all I'm saying,
CJ Stroud is my stud.
Yeah.
I think he's going to want to try to be a bit more accurate and on pace this week, and Indy's a good team to do some games.
Yeah. I mean, I don't feel good. I don't feel good about how the game went, but I think people are really discounting like it was a close game. It was 7 lead changes against the Packers. It was a walk-off touchdown win. Like there were definitely a lot of mistakes, but I'm encouraged by what I'm seeing from this team, and I'm encouraged by this defense. They're playing like a top 5 unit, and they haven't had some of their starters all year yet. Excited to see them put it together. Excited to see the turnovers finally coming with some of this play. So I think hopefully they only get better as the season goes on. I'm not feeling bad about this team yet. Moving into Jets Patriots.
Yeah,
another
it's an ugly
AFC
game, but I think it could turn out to be a really good one.
It could, depends on if it's low scoring or high scoring. I think I'm taking Jets to win, Pats to cover, and then I'm taking Demario Douglas as my big time player of the game. I think they're going to try and force feed this guy, and then Garrett Wilson, my touchdown scorer.
Yeah, I'll go next. The Pats have played, and this is one I wish Tyler was here for, of course. Pats have played the Jets really well the last few years, and regardless of where these teams have been. And it would not really surprise me to see the Pats win this game at home if Drake May really comes out and plays well. But I think that like kind of the pedigree that Aaron Rodgers brings in, like the Jets, I still kind of see as more the experienced team, even though these teams are both muddy here. I would expect Aaron, and like the way the Jets have played, they're coming off 4 losses now. And before that, Aaron Rodgers played good for a couple of games. I think he still has something in him, and if it's like one of those if not now then when moments. And if the Jets are going to try and resuscitate their season and maybe be a 10-win team, as crazy as that might sound, it's going to have to start this week. So I went with the Jets, and I still do like Drake May to make some plays in this game. I went with him as my anytime touchdown scorer. I like him to get one in with his legs. So it might not be pretty. I don't know if it's going to be, but it's going to be 6 points, and that's how I see it. Yeah, I think this is going to be a close one. I like the Pats to cover.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat here. I think that 7 spread is one that is easily attainable for New England to cover here. But I am taking the Jets as well. I love what you said about the experience of the Jets, because I do think that's going to be a big time thing here, is having the vets that you have is going to be a big time play. And Breece Hall is going to be a problem for this Pats defense just because he poses that dual threat with the passing game, with the running game. I have Tay Adams as my stud, though. Man, he was a letdown. He really was. They targeted him on the very first pass of the game for Aaron Rodgers, and he dropped it. He had 9 targets total, and he only caught 3 of them. So they want to get him active. They want to get him acclimated back into an Aaron Rodgers offense, and I think this is a week to do it. And then Breece Hall for my anytime, because he's a big red zone threat. All right, I can flip us into Eagles-Bengals here if you want.
Yes,
Do
sir.
it.
But all right, Eagles everything. I don't like the Bengals favored at home, but then again, they are playing better. But I'm going to take Eagles everything. Saquon for my stud. The guy is unreal. Cincinnati does not do well against the run, and I think he could eat up here. And then I do have A.J. Brown as my anytime. He's coming back. He got back from injury, and a couple weeks in a row now, he has looked every bit the part of the receiver that they traded for from Tennessee. So A.J. Brown for me.
All right. Well, I'm right there with you. I want Eagles to win, Eagles to cover. I want Saquon for both. I don't usually do that, but in this regard, I'm okay with it. Because he's been everything, and this Bengals defense has not been good. I've been like a Lou Anarumo stan for the longest time, mostly because of the way he just humiliated Ken Dorsey in the playoffs, and I have not seen any of that from this Bengals team, and I expect Saquon to continue to do Saquon things.
Yeah, I am going to go against the grain here. I've got the Bengals winning this game and Eagles covering. I think this game is going to look very similar to the Ravens Bengals game, and I'm just going to take the Bengals to actually clutch this one up. I don't love either of these defenses or secondaries. I think AJ Brown and Jamar both have big days, but I think the highlight of this game is going to be wide receiver twos, T. Higgins versus Devonta Smith, and who can help their team make plays. Obviously, having Saquon is a bigger advantage over having Zach Moss or Chase Brown, but quarterback play, I just like Burrow more than I like Hurts right now. But give me A.J. Brown as the stud of the game, but T. Higgins as my anytime touchdown scorer. Rolling into Titans-Lions, if you watch this game, the Titans-Bills game, it's the same game. Lions all the way, Jahmyr Gibbs. That's where I'm at on this one.
Yeah, I think we're all pretty much on the same page.
Turn away, Titans fans. The season is done.
Yeah, they're about as bad as the Panthers are right now. Not that far off from it. Only thing I had different from you was I went with Amon-Ra St. Brown as my anytime touchdown scorer. Jamo Williams got popped for PEDs and is going to miss 2 games. So,
how do they determine that? Sometimes it's 6 games, sometimes it's 2 games. Like, how do you?
I would assume it depends on the substance. Maybe it could be something that was self-reported. If I don't know, those are just a couple of guesses. Honestly, I really don't know the answer to that. But Jamo's out for 2 weeks, and that means that the stocks for both Laporta and Amon-Ra St. Brown are both up. So take your pick out of those two. I went with Amon-Ra.
Yeah. The good news is this gives Jameson Williams more time to cook up his parlay. So make sure and follow his Twitter. He's going to be dropping those scalper picks here in a minute.
Man. Yeah. Be on the lookout for them bad boys. Jared Goff was my stud. Man, is he really having a solid year. He's accurate. He's hitting everybody in stride. He's doing everything right. And that was something that they had talked about last year is, he went through stretches where it seemed like he just could not hit anybody.
Yeah.
And nobody could get open. Well, now everybody is finding those open spots. I mean, the dude had 3 incomplete passes this week when 2 weeks prior he went perfect. So he's doing everything correct right now. And I do have Sam Laporta, and I love that from you, Bahuki. Talk about their stock going up. I think Laporta gets in the end zone this week. Titans defense is susceptible to that. They're going to be looking for Amon-Ra a bit more. They're going to try to shut him down. That leaves it wide open for somebody like Laporta.
No doubt.
All right. I'll flip us into Bills Seahawks here. This is
a good game.
This could be a really, really good game. This might be game of the week, honestly, at least for me, when I'm looking at kind of the slate. But I am going Bills everything here. Could be close. I have Josh Allen as my stud, and I felt good that my anytime Amari Cooper touchdown pick hit last week. Ran the wrong route, but still got open. it don't matter if you catch it in the end zone. So
Yeah. Also, I liked what you said earlier about the Jets, because I didn't watch all of the Jets game because I was watching baseball. Admittedly, I was curious to see who the Yankees were going to be playing, I didn't know that Devontae Adams dropped his first target, because Amari Cooper did the exact same thing on a 3rd and 1, and I was pretty livid in that moment. And because again, he's one of the league leaders in drops too, so it's actually been kind of a recurring issue for him. But he did redeem himself. We saw Keon Coleman kind of do something similar a week ago. He took one in the back of the head and then ended up breaking off a huge touchdown later. So you can live with it then. But yeah, the thing I'm looking at here, after seeing the Titans game and several of our games earlier this season, the Cardinals game I know is another one that sticks out, is the Bills getting off to slow starts. And then waking up in the at halftime, and I guess Sean McDermott must be giving him good halftime speeches. Maybe you should start giving him some good pregame speeches too, because you can get away with those types of performances against the Titans. But if you're playing if you're playing against Baltimore, like we saw earlier this week, and you see Derrick Henry bust an 87-yard touchdown in the first play from scrimmage against you, and you're just standing there holding your jock strap. As my father would say, that's one of my father's terms.
A Papa Bahuki quote.
Yes, so this is a real playoff caliber team. This is a playoff type game. This isn't a playoff game, but it's a playoff type game, and I want to see them come out and look like the playoff Bills early. That's really what I'm looking for here. And how are we going to do that? Hopefully with James Cook. He did get a touchdown last week, but he's kind of got a turf toe that he's dealing with. Ray Davis has been kind of coming along and has been a little bit more efficient carrying the ball, which is a little bit worrisome. James Cook didn't get any targets last week in the pass game. So I really want to see him take it off, move it along. And my anytime touchdown scorer, I went with Keon Coleman. It looks like he's really starting to emerge here. He's one of the league. I think he has second most receiving yards in the AFC East behind Garrett Wilson. But yeah, that's all I got. I can move along, Louis.
Yeah, I took Bills to win, but the Hawks to cover. I've got Keon Coleman as my player of the game. I think he looks really comfortable getting number 2 looks as opposed to number 1 in his first year. I thought he looked good in that last game. And then I've got Kenneth Walker, KW3 automatic touchdown. He's such a good player. And his contact balance, unreal. Moving into Saints Chargers, I'm taking Chargers to win, Saints to cover, assuming Carr plays. I've seen reports that he might be playing this week. I think if he plays, this is a good game. If he doesn't, it's not. Justin Herbert's going to be my player of the game, and Bub Means is my anytime touchdown scorer.
All right. I'm going Chargers to win, Saints to cover as well. I think that 7-point line, I think that's pretty big. So I'll take Saints to cover, Justin Herbert as well for me. And then I do have J.K. Dobbins for my anytime. Might also throw in Alvin Kamara on there as well. You know, with the news that he's got that new contract, tends to have guys a little more motivated to go out there and earn your money. So I would say either Dobbins or Kamara for me.
All right, I'll move along into the I went with the Chargers here to win and to cover, which I think is kind of crazy, picking the Chargers to win a game by more than 7 points. I just don't trust the Saints at all in this particular spot going out west. That's really kind of how I felt. I was a little cheeky with my stud of the game. I went with Cameron Dicker, their kicker, who went 5 of 5 last night. And was their only means of any offense by way of special teams. I didn't trust putting Herbert or Dobbins in this role. The only other guy would be Will Dissly, who did show up and was making some consistent plays for the Chargers. So I went with him as my anytime touchdown scorer because Dicker is unlikely to score a touchdown.
Moving into next game, this one's not great, so we're just going to breeze through this. I'm taking this Broncos-Panthers. I'm taking Broncos to win. I'm taking Panthers to cover because the line is so massive for a bad offense. And then I'm taking Javonte Williams as my player of the game and Estime. It's like their backup running back. Estime. There you go. He's my anytime touchdown scorer. I think every single one of their running backs might get a touchdown in this game.
Yep. Broncos to win, Broncos to cover, Broncos defense for my stud here. This unit has been very, very good this year. And then I did go Javonte Williams for any time, had 2 touchdowns last week, going to continue it this week.
His stocks are going up. I am with you guys. Broncos to win, Broncos to cover. Bo Nix, AFC Rookie of the Year. This is another one I need Tyler here for that to be extra funny. Anytime touchdown scorer, I went with Troy Franklin, who led the team in receptions last week. Moving along into the next one, which is just a great game. That's not going to be a great game because Jaden Daniels is most likely out here. And I went and looked at it and wanted to pick the Commanders here, and they're like, yeah, he's probably not playing in them. Like, you can't pick the Commanders here in good faith with Marcus Mariota coming out. So yeah, I got Bears to win, Bears to cover. DeAndre Swift, who is really starting to come along for them before the bye, is my stud of the game. And Cole Kmet, another guy who's been coming along and doing literally everything, taking snaps and doing all kinds of crazy. And whoever's next, Louis, run it.
Yeah, I'm going to take Bears all the way. I'm taking DJ Moore to really put a statement on this game. They struggle against wide receiver ones. I don't know why that wouldn't continue. And then I've got Brian Robinson to run one in. He might have their lone touchdown of the game, depending on how that goes.
Yep. I have Bears everything here as well. Caleb Williams for my stud. If Jaden Daniels was playing in this game, I viewed it as I'm going to show you why I'm the number 1 pick. And I'm going to show you why the Bears wanted me over you type game for him. But I do have Austin Eckler for my anytime. Maybe, just maybe, he catches a little flat route from Marcus Mariota, just get him in space, and he gets a touchdown there. Yeah, I'll flip us into Chiefs and Raiders if you want.
Yeah, run it on.
How do I say this without cussing belligerently?
You can cuss belligerently.
Screw the Raiders. They're talking so much trash that is just not good for them. You Aiden O'Connell's out. You're relying on the mustache man. I'm sorry. This game's not going to be close. I think they want to absolutely drop the hammer here. I know this could be a trap game. We've seen the Raiders do it before.
It has been in the past, yeah.
But I don't think so. I think the Chiefs are laying the traps. Chiefs everything. Chiefs defense for my stud, Kareem Hunt or anytime touchdown. And Pacheco could be back soon. He was on a treadmill and he's getting some light practice work in. So
good intel.
Pacheco could be soon.
I'm taking Chiefs all the way. I'm taking Kelsey as my player of the game and Brock Bowers as my anytime touchdown scorer. Tight end game, baby.
Yes, sir.
Big tight end guy. My next game, exact same thing.
Well, I like your guys' picks. I went with the Raiders to cover here. Not only has this been a trap game in the past, but I think we also got it. Like, when's the last time the Chiefs really blew anybody out?
It's true.
The Chiefs don't blow people out. They do what is required, and this game could be an outlier because these teams don't like each other, and there could be a little bit of extra juice in this one. But I haven't seen Patrick Mahomes be Patrick Mahomes yet. Could this be the week? Absolutely. But I'm gonna go with the Raiders to cover 9.5. I do like them to lean on Kareem Hunt and grind this game out as needed as their start of the game. And anytime touchdown scorer, I went with one of my favorite certified sickos and game wreckers, Max Crosby.
Dude,
I don't know
Max Crosby hates this team so much.
So I think that he could really be making his presence felt in this one.
Okay.
Good one. Moving into Niners Cowboys. This is Sunday night football. What I thought was going to be a good game may not be as good of a game as we all hoped. I'm taking the boys to pull the upset and win this one against the Niners team that just doesn't look super great. And I don't think Jawan Jennings matched up with Trayvon Diggs or Deron Bland is really the matchup you're going to be looking for here. I'm taking Ferguson as my player of the game. I think he could have like a 4 for 85, 5 for 100 kind of stat line here. And then I'm taking George Kittle to find the end zone because F the Cowboys.
That's what they say.
That's what they say.
Bahuki, go ahead, and then I'll finish it out and wrap us into the finish.
Perfect. So I went with the Niners here, which I don't know. Like this is going to be a really unpredictable game because I feel like both these teams are very volatile right now. And the reason I went with the Niners is I haven't seen like the Cowboys come up with a big win against a big team when they needed it in some time. And this could be that one. This could be that like rallying win. And when they do come up with those wins, it's usually at home. They're not a very good road team. And these teams don't like each other. This is like they're not in the division, but this is like Bills Chiefs. Like these two like it's that kind of energy. And I think it's going to be a lot for the Cowboys to go on the road and overcome. My sicko of the game, best middle linebacker in football, Fred Warner. It's not particularly close. He's going to get a gold jacket. And George Kittle is my anytime touchdown scorer.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. Well, I'm going to agree with you here, Louie. I will die on the Dallas Cowboys hill if I have to. I know I have this on, but my heart is in Dallas. Okay? Let's just turn
I think a more
around.
hated team combo than the Cowboys Chiefs.
Right.
Let's just turn the hat around here.
6 years ago, he was a Patriots fan.
No.
Oh, geez.
No shit like that. Cowboys everything here. Cowboys to cover. Blake, I think you said this perfect. They need to win. San Francisco needs to win also, but Dallas really needs to win. They've gotten embarrassed several times this year. Last time we played the 49ers, they embarrassed Dallas. So this is a big-time game. Dak Prescott for my stud, and I love the Jake Ferguson pick for a stud as well. I'm having him as my anytime. This is a good situation for him to maybe try to have an impact. I know Fred Warner might be shadowing him, and that's a tough matchup, the toughest matchup he might have all year, but I could see him getting active in this game. So I will go Cowboys confidently. That was the only game I got wrong. Not this past week, but the week before. I'll die on the hill all day long. All right. Giants Steelers to close it out.
The Munich game. I don't think anyone's waking up for it either.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But Steelers all the way.
Up for it. What time is it?
It should be
9:30 probably.
Yeah, probably about the same time as the London games ish.
Yeah, I would assume 9:30.
Yeah. So
I thought it was the Monday night game.
It should. Oh wait, no wait. Yeah, it is.
Am I wrong? Okay.
Yeah, it's 7:15 on Monday night.
Giants Panthers is the following week.
There you go. That's
that one. No one's waking up.
I lied.
That one, absolutely not.
Giants Panthers.
Yeah. But Giants Steelers, Steelers all the way here, man. I think Russell Wilson really impressed this coaching staff, so he's my stud. George Pickens is the guy that he is throwing the ball to, and he's going to be my anytime. I think that's a safe pick. Why wouldn't you keep feeding him if you know that he's going to be your touchdown monster? So Steelers all the way for me.
I'm taking Steelers to win, Giants to cover. I just don't like this almost touchdown spread. I think the Russ train comes a little bit back to earth this week. I've got Pickens as my sicko of the game, but I do want to say something. I'm a starting to become a George Pickens hater, okay? And I'm going to tell you why. Is if he actually makes the catch when he's supposed to make the catch, he would have like half of his highlight reel gone. Stop juggling the ball, just catch the ball. There's no need you don't have to bat it off the defender's head, okay, man? Like just catch the ball on the first try and you're fine. And then I've got Malik Neighbors as my anytime touchdown scorer.
All right, wrapping us up. I went Steelers winning this. It's hard to pick the Giants to do much of anything right now. And yeah, Steelers to win, Steelers to cover. Najee Harris really been playing well. I thought that Jalen Warren there was a good chance he was going to overtake him this year, and I will have to eat my crow on that one. I knew Drew Palmer, one of our stadium rant guys. I debated him about that. And Najee has been really good lately, and I went with Pat Freiermuth as Muth is my anytime touchdown scorer. He's been a reliable red zone threat all year.
Okay, well, that wraps week 8, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I know we went a little bit early tonight. We're ending a little bit early, but yeah, we're gonna keep Tyler in your thoughts. He's gonna hopefully be back next week, and enjoy some NBA tonight. That kicks off here just a couple minutes ago, tipped off, and then we'll see you guys next week as always for another week of good old NFL.
Absolutely.